it is the most uncomfortable I could be. I would rather walk on Lego for an hour barefoot than put myself in front of a camera. It will lead to more. You will start to believe more in yourself. It might be a slow process. It might take longer than you hoped it would, but it will. And if you don't start, you will never know. But that's kind of the point as well, isn't it? That like at the beginning, when you're doing like those cheaper prices, it's because you're making mistakes and you're learning still. When you get to the point where you're charging $5,000 or whatever, or £30 for a box of Krispy Kremes, whatever it is, that's when you've like really perfected your art.
You've mastered it, yes. Welcome to the Today We Won podcast. This is a special episode. You understand, you get the gist, but they're all special. But this one is family first. I love it. This lady, she's amazing. She's not only an amazing person and close to my heart, she's an amazing drawer. Is that the term? Either way, we'll get to it. But with no further delay, I'd like to invite my sister to the podcast, Sarah. Welcome to the Today We Won podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So how do we know each other?
You're my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. You're engaged to my sister.
Perfect. So, yes, and if you could, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how, I said you're an amazing drawer, but what would we call your expert? What would we call it?
I'm an artist.
There we go.
But more specifically, I'm an animal portrait artist.
There we go. Animal portrait artist. Perfect. So tell me a little bit about yourself and then how we got into that, if you can.
Okay, so I'm a mum. Mm-hmm. I've got 3 children. I've got a lovely husband. Mm-hmm. He's a lawyer. And for the last we've been together now for nearly 20 years.
Wow. And
during that time, I've mainly been sort of like a housewife and a mum, and I've had little part-time jobs along the way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's been like, my main role, my main identity for the last 20 years or so is like mum, housewife. Yeah.
Perfect. And so what made you follow the passion of drawing? Now, just before you answer, I know you come from a family of drawers. I know I'm saying it wrong, artists, but drawers is more because artists could be anything.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying drawers. I know it doesn't sound grammatically correct, but I don't care.
Yeah.
But because you are all drawers. Like your uncle is an amazing drawer, your dad is an amazing drawer, you're an amazing drawer. Like what? I guess you inherited, but what I'm asking you is what made you follow that passion?
Well, for a long time, I didn't know that that was a passion, if I'm completely honest. I always, from when I was a child, I got told I was a good artist, I was good at drawing. And I didn't really, when I was younger, I didn't really have a passion for it. And I very, very rarely over the years would pick up my art supplies. Not that I really had many of them. The ones I did have all came from my dad. And I would rarely pick them up. When I did, I was like, oh, no, that's all right, but then it would be like another couple of years before I'd do it again. So it was about 6 years ago now, COVID hit, obviously. And that COVID changed a lot of people's lives.
It really did. It ignited it drew a lot of people out.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of home cooks, we had a lot of home exercises, we had a lot of, I'm just going to try it. Where before COVID, just I need a certificate, I need recognition.
Yeah.
And after COVID, it's I'm just going to just follow my dream.
Exactly that. And so I, at the time, I'd been in a job for the last 5 years working for a marketing agency in their social media team. Mm-hmm. And it was all right. It wasn't my life ambition, but it was good. It fit around the kids really well, and I enjoyed it. Then COVID hit, and first of all, I got put on furlough, and then I was made redundant, and I was like, great. Well, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And anyone who was looking for a job during COVID will completely understand how difficult it was.
It was horrible.
I mean, I was on Indeed, and I was applying for every job that I felt like I would be able to do. And Indeed would email and be like 450 other people applied for this job. And I'm like, they're not even going to see my CV,
exactly.
And there was...
And sorry, just on that point as well, in those 450, what COVID forced people to do is all these people with letters after the name and all these high levels, they started applying down.
Yeah.
And that meant that they're eating into our space.
Yeah.
And then that meant that they're not going to see our CV when they've got someone all of these credentials and want just this little... So please carry on.
Absolutely that. So I did get an interview though, and it was with a pet portrait artist. And unfortunately, it didn't work out because she was based up north and she needed someone that could actually be there in the studio. But we had a really good chat. It was really nice to have that interview with her, and gave me a little bit of confidence too. And afterwards I was thinking, could I do what she does? I know I've got a bit of artistic skill. Maybe I could do that. So I put the feelers out on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, because at that point I didn't have anything else, And it was just like, would anyone be interested in a pet portrait, like 50 quid for an A4 pet portrait? Not thinking anyone would, I was like, no one's gonna.
We'll just put it out there just in case,
we'll see. And I got loads of people, I'd be interested. So I was like, okay, and I did my first one, and the first one I ever did was, it was a spaniel, a cocker spaniel. So if anyone that's been following me from the beginning will have seen that one, Cooper.
We're going to put the dog in here. Yeah.
And it came out so much better than I didn't even realise. I know, I don't want to sound big-headed, but I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
It was one of those, I got to the end, and I actually cried when I finished it because I was so proud of myself.
So fist bump to that. No, 10 out of 10.
And then I guess other people maybe were surprised that I could do that, because then I had even more people going, I want one of those,
My cousin has one as well of their dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it did get to the point where I'm like, I can't do these for 50 quid because this is taking me a couple of weeks.
Time.
And I'm buying all these supplies, and the supplies, proper art supplies were not cheap.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to have to actually start charging some proper
prices
rates now.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, well, I'll do this properly then. I'll set up a Facebook page, I'll set up an Instagram, all of that. And it just took off from there. It was, it went from I don't know what I'm going to do to oh my God, I'm running my own little business.
Yeah. I love that because, first of all, listen, well done for following your dream and finding your passion. A lot of the time as well, we spoke off camera about confidence, following our dream, our passion, stuff like that. But a lot of the time, people don't have the confidence to ask.
Yeah.
When I wanted to do this podcast, this amazing setup, I said to people, would you be interested, in watching me talk to people about life stories and changes and this, And then I had such a good response. And I thought, crap, I gotta do it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
That was the thing. All these people saying, yeah, I want one. And then you're going, I hope I can do it. I hope I can deliver. Because how embarrassing if at the end of it I have to go, actually, sorry.
Yeah. And even that's an amazing point. I'm glad you said that, because even if any people behind these cameras follow their passion, I want to do hair, and their goal was bridal hair, and actually they fell short because they lacked the confidence, just starting is so much better than not starting.
Well, at least you know.
It's so true, and it's so important that we go out after what we're here for. We get given a God-given talent. Yours is definitely drawing, artist, whatever. But it's not your only talent. I will definitely say that it is not your only talent. And I always heard we get given one God-given talent. But actually, no, because being a mother is another talent, because not everyone's fit to be a mother. Running a home is another talent. And then decorating a home is another talent. And people pay for these. We have nannies, we have home decorators, we have people that you give a budget to, and they will come and just do everything for you, So these are all talents, but we don't recognize them because we do it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I saw a post and a quote, and it said, if you're really good at something, never do it for free. I don't think never, but it has to start coming into some monetary value early. The very lucky people, and this is why I'm always about the ones that support, they're the ones who get the £50 ones, because when you're charging £5,000 because your time is so important, we've got to aim.
We have to aim. Definitely.
And the thing is, you say you wish, you've only got to portray one artist, and they say whoa, and then that artist gets one of their art, and I mean, when I'm a musician, we love Guns N' Roses and those guys, say you did one of Slash, a Slash half and half, which was Slash, so it's him young and him now, and it was literally Slash, and it's like, oh my gosh, wow, this is mine, and he's teasing his brothers, and then they're saying, we will pay you $5,000 a piece, there you go, and then all of a sudden you now go from doing animal portraits for a fair price to celeb portraits for a fair price to them, and then all of a sudden it's like, this is who you are. Now, you could have always done it, And the point of making is we have to build, the confidence has to come through, and we have to do it. You said to me, you're due one of me. And I was like, even I got shy. I'm like, Dan, you're shy. Like, I've got some real beautiful photos of myself, if I'm being honest. And I still said, I'll choose one of me and Alex. And I thought, you burnt your opportunity there. You could have just had a nice portrait.
Have whatever you want.
Thanks. But it's true. And I've got some really nice pictures. And I've got one in mind where it's one of me when I was doing modelling. I was a bit younger. It's just me. I've got a hat on. And it will be a really good one because it's got colours in it. And I know you could be really creative with the colours. So I may use that one. But the point I'm making is it's important for us to take the opportunities when they come. Whether it's you drawing or whether it's me receiving. Because we never know where they will lead. When I get my new house and I'm this, wow, today we won and we've now got 1 million subscribers and you're charging 5,000 a piece. And I have people come to my house, the lucky ones, and they're like, who did that? And I'm like, well, I'm telling you now. Yeah. You should have gotten early because unless you're willing to put your hand in your pocket, just admire my photo, my portrait, you know. But it's true and that's why I say it's important to invest early. Yeah. It's all about the early investment, you know. Sometimes it's cupcake making. You may have burnt the bottom or burnt the top. But you know what? I'm still going to invest and I want 12 of them. And the reason is because I want to support. So then now when you are, you, me, whoever is Krispy Kremes, well then I want my tray at a fair price, you know. I want my tray at a fair price as opposed to thinking, oh God, now I've got to pay £30 for do. Well, yeah, you do, because you didn't invest. You knew I was making cupcakes or whatever, donuts.
But that's kind of the point as well, isn't it? That like at the beginning, when you're doing like those cheaper prices, it's because you're making mistakes and you're learning still. When you get to the point where you're charging $5,000 or whatever, or £30 for a box of Krispy Kremes, whatever it is, that's when you've like really perfected your art. You've mastered it, yes. And don't get me wrong, I think even like the masters of anything will still make mistakes because we're human. We never stop being human, and we all have bad days. I have times when the amount of times I restart portraits because I think no, it's not doing what I want it to do, and I'm such a perfectionist. If it's not perfect straight away, I'm like, no, that's starting again because I want everyone who gets something that I've drawn away. Yeah, exactly that. To be reduced to tears. It's so true. Yeah, like I want them to be like, I'm really glad I commissioned you. I'm really glad that you've done this for me. Like I would hate to think that anyone ever was disappointed and didn't tell me or. Agreed. Because it's the same. I do my videography for people, and I do it in such a way that like I want those tears. That's my target, and I know it's a target for yourself. And even if you've never worded it like that, you're drawing to see tears, and that's because they are so in awe or. A wife always corrects me, but in so taken back, blown away. Like, look at what you did. You captured it perfectly, and you can see everything. And oh my gosh, I didn't think it would be possible to take me back there, and I'm right there. Yeah. Or, this is my actual pet. Some people, Pops had Buddy. You draw a picture of Buddy, and it's like, oh my God, it's like he's here again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that is so important. And even though we may not start as perfectionists, we start as perfectionists, but we don't have that level of detail. Yeah. The target, the aim is always so important. And I think this is an amazing episode to go after your dream, after your passion, because a lot of the time we have a dream and it doesn't matter what it is. I want to just cut grass and you cut grass. Yeah, well, there's landscapers that are multimillionaires with like trucks and sit on mowers and everything with their name on the side, And sometimes you don't realise what your dream is until you start small. Yes. And then you start, and it comes, as you were saying earlier, it comes with confidence that you start really small and you don't even think about what it could become because you don't believe you would ever get there. Agreed. But then like you take a little step up and a little step up and you think actually, and you start feeling that confidence and you start feeling like, actually, maybe I can do this. I can do this, you know. And then it grows and grows and grows. And I think feedback as well, one thing that it's a love-hate I have relationship with feedback from people around, because when you start, I'm thinking of doing pet portraits, I'm thinking of doing a podcast, 200 likes, 200 comments. You do one portrait, oh my God, everyone's blown away. 5th portrait, oh my God, everyone's blown away. 20th portrait,
5 likes.
Yeah.
50th portraits, 300 views, 2 likes.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what? But a wise person said, the less people are interacting, the better you're getting. So it's like a transitional period. It starts with everyone behind you and everyone here. And you think that this is where you're going to go. And then it does that. And then before you know it slows down. And then you think, what? I'm at my best and you're not backing me. But it's a tiny bit of envy with a tiny bit of showing them a mirror. This is what happens when you follow your passion. Where they don't have the passion to even start. So it's like, I'm not going to keep liking your stuff. I'm not going to keep supporting you.
But I think also it is that like people just, they're used to seeing it, so they're not like in awe anymore, you know?
I think they are because if we went to those same people and said, look, I'm going to give you a portrait. What? Me? Really?
Yeah, but that's a bit different because they're like,
no, because it's exactly. And that's that support. But then guess what? You know, doing Guns N' Roses, £5,000 for one portrait, people will start sharing your stuff again.
Yeah.
Start sharing your stuff again. You didn't ask. And you're having 300, 400 people sharing your stuff because you're their claim to fame. This is Sarah. I went to school with her. And you know what? Yeah. She's amazing. She does Guns N' Roses. She does all the celebrities. And it's like, are you the same person that barely?
Yeah.
It's just life, I suppose. And that's when I say you shine a mirror because it's like you everybody wants to start. Everybody wants to know the man, in this case, the woman, you know, the person. But then after a while, it's like, I'm not going to keep clapping. And you have 1 or 2 people who do, and they consistently
Do you know
clap.
what? I've got quite, not loads, but I can name a few people who have consistently from the beginning been my biggest champions.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to those people because they've never, when I'm having days where I feel like you were saying, like, you know, all of a sudden you go from getting hundreds of likes to like, you know, I'm struggling to get like 5.
Honestly.
And then you think, what's the point? Why am I doing this? You know? And
honestly, why am I doing this?
Because, and it's those people that keep
you
pushing
going.
you and going, no, you're really good. You can do this. You can do this.
Yeah.
And you think, you know what?
Thank
like,
you.
Yeah, that little push, that little bit of like bigging me up a little bit has given me a little bit of like
so important.
Yeah. But ultimately, the thing is as well, I don't want to sound like it's about follows and likes because it's not at all. It's not about that at all. But those follows and those likes tell the algorithm that this is something worth seeing. Then it's going to show it to new people. And those new people might go, oh, I want one of her portraits.
I want to purchase. And that's what I was just waiting for you to finish to say. It isn't about algorithms, but what it is about is the system. It is all about, it's not about likes, sorry, but it is about the algorithm.
Yeah.
We live in a material world. And in order to gain new people's support, we need our people or the community to support, interact. So more people can get involved. So then we can say, well, okay, I'm now at the level. I will do the Guns N' Roses one. I will make it the best ever. And then we're just going to follow them around on a tour. And we're going to get close enough one day just to give it to them, you know, because you send it in the post. And unless they've got their own podcast platform, they're going to go, thanks, straight in the pocket. Yeah. And it's lost. That was an amazing opportunity, burnt. Where if you get the, you know, you hold it and then, come here.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what I mean? Because you're like, this is my chance.
Yeah.
And then they put it on the stage and they're doing the thing, but they're still showing it off. And it's like, this person is amazing. And then you can comment them and say, that was mine. And then they will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Interactions and all the rest of it. It's so important that we follow our dreams, but seize those opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, without me getting too gassed and overexcited, what made you say to yourself, now is the time for me to go all into my, you know, my artist portrait, my pet portrait, sorry, as opposed to humans as well. That's one. So I'm asking you two, what made you go straight into your pet portraits as opposed to humans? And what made you use this time now to say no?
Okay, so pet portraits, I just personally prefer drawing animals to people. I don't mind drawing people if I've got like a really clear reference photo, but quite often, and people don't realise they do this, they'll say, can you draw my nan? She's not around anymore. This is the only photo I've got, or these are the only photos I've got. You're like, That's
I
so
can't see that,
blurry.
yeah.
And the person looking at it, the person who that's their
Sent
nan,
it, yeah.
they immediately know what every feature looks like.
Yeah.
And so their mind fills in the blanks. They
Yes.
can't see that the photo isn't very clear.
Isn't clear, yeah.
So they're going, oh, what do you mean? That's fine. I can see what she looks like. Well, I've never met this woman before, and I'm never gonna. And you
don't
can't
know
give
if
me
you're going to do justice or not.
Exactly. And so, and I feel like, and I've had to say to people, like, I can't do this justice. I don't believe that I can make that look the way you're going to want it to look. I don't want to let you down. Now, there might be artists out there, I know there are artists out there that would do it and they'll get it spot on. But I don't have the faith in myself that I can. I don't want to let you down. I don't want to take your money. So I'm going to be honest with you and say no.
Unless it's clear.
Unless it's really clear, yeah. So I have done people, but I don't do it often.
Yeah, because you've done my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. But so that was your first question. Your second question, why now?
Why now?
So going back, so 5-6 years ago, got into the pet portraits. About a year after that, I was offered my old job back. And pet portraits, I think probably any art in general, when you're taking commissions, it's really hit and miss. You go through periods where you're like so snowed under and you're like, oh my God, you know, you're telling people you're gonna have to wait a few months for that one. And then all of a sudden it's really quiet and you're like, not any work.
What's going on, yeah.
So I thought, you know, when I was offered my old job back, I thought I'm going to take it because that's regular income and it's not full time. It was, I can't remember how many hours a week.
But enough,
15, 20 hours a week. So I can fit it in, I can do both. I've got a regular income and then I can do the pet portraits on the side. But I'll be honest, I let the pet portraits slide. It was like, once I was back in that job and I was comfortable back in that job, I was taking on commissions, but not nearly as much. I wasn't putting myself out there at all. Like, you know, social media, it was like I was posting once every so often. I certainly wasn't putting myself out there like, I'm available, you know. And during that time as well, social media changed a lot. Now, I say this as somebody who was in a social media job, but you do not realise till you are marketing yourself how difficult it is and how difficult it has become. Because 5 years ago, I could put something out and it would be like, you know, the reach would be huge.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, why aren't I reaching people?
Yeah.
You know, it's really frustrating. But anyway, I'm going...
And the algorithm, sorry, but no, you're not going on this, it's fine.
I was going to say I'm going off topic, but yeah.
But now the algorithms as well, it's like you could hashtag the F out of something, and then you only led 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I need the best 5. But if I don't have 5 that hit home or hit the algorithms, then I still get lost. And this is amazing, you know, and
it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. But anyway, that's not answering your question. So why now? I'm in a position to be able to do it now. You know, I'll be completely honest. I've got a really supportive husband, Adam. He's pushed me to do it. He's, you know, I was becoming quite unhappy in my job. I knew that I didn't want to be doing this for much longer. And if I'm completely honest, I've always been one of those people like, I'm not really sure what it is I want to do, you know. And I finally feel like I know what it is I want to do.
Perfect.
And I want to, it's my time to do it now, you know.
And can I just add, let me just add, when we're in school, our kids will probably watch this. When we're in school, when we've just left school, when we're early 20s, mid 20s, early 30s, you get told, find your career, find your career. And like, you know, I said to my daughter, I've changed so many times and it's okay because we don't want to be just holding up someone else's building and just being a brick in a million brick building. You know, we don't just, we have individual goals and dreams.
It's fine if you do want
and that's fine.
But not everyone does want that.
And that someone has a dream, someone has a passion. And like you said, as soon as you went back to work, your passion took a backseat.
Yeah.
You know, which I can't be bringing in money, but at the same time, sometimes your passion will make you rich. So do you want to bring in money and just feel, or do you want to be rich doing what you love? And rich doesn't mean material wealth. It means like, I don't have to go to work. I wake up when I want. You know what I mean?
It's satisfaction with your life.
You know.
And I think that's really important, being satisfied with your life. And I didn't feel like that. And I was like, you know, I'm really lucky. Like my husband can support our family. I've got a talent that I actually do. Like the thing is as well, like I said before, like I would get the art supplies out once every couple of years, if that, you know, I'd go years and years where I wouldn't bother. And now if I have days where I'm not drawing and I'm not creating, I'm a bit like, like I want to do it, you know, like it's my happy place. I feel really at peace. I lose myself. I get lost in thought. I'll listen to like music that I love, or a podcast, or a audiobook or something, I just get completely, hours will go by and it doesn't feel like hours have gone by.
Yeah.
And I feel at peace with myself. And I'm like, if I don't have that, I start feeling like I need to get back to my desk.
Itchy feet, and it's true, because it's the same with me in the podcast. It's the same with me in my videography. If I'm not following my passion and my dream, then slowly but surely I start to think, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing it for? And then you think, shall I do it? Oh, I should do this. I should do that. And the second you're in it, you're like, you can't peel yourself away from it. You know what I mean? You're just engrossed in it. So what I would say is then, in regards to your passion and your dream and your vision, what advice would you give to yourself 10 years ago? And the reason why I use 10 is because it isn't like we've just left school, but we're at an age where if we would have started 10 years ago, we'd be further, or would we? That's the question. Because if we'd have started 10 years ago at this and we didn't get the reach, we would be, or you would have been social media guru, because you would have started so early that the algorithms wasn't even a thing then.
Yeah.
And you'd have captured everyone.
That's a bit why I'm cross with myself, that when it was a lot easier 5-6 years ago, I didn't keep it up. If I kept it up, I might be in a much better position now. I feel like I'm starting from scratch again now, and it's a lot harder now. But it is what it is. I can't change it. There's no point in having regrets, because it's not going to change anything. It's not going to.
And we can help people.
Yeah.
Like right now, imagine if this was you from 10 years ago and you're saying, Dan, 10 years of doing pet portraits, I'm smashing it. Every post gets 200-300. If it doesn't hit 150k views, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
That little Sarah behind the screen watching, there's a huge disconnect where right now she's not that far behind you, whether it's talent or views. And that means you're more relatable. That means you're going to encourage her. So even though you're following your passion, you're encouraging someone else to follow theirs, which on God's plan is way bigger than just looking after yourself.
So I am a huge believer in, I know not everyone feels this way, but I believe things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
100%.
Everything that happens is meant to happen. There is a plan. I don't know if I believe in God or not, or the traditional sense of God, but I do believe everything has a purpose. There is a plan behind everything. And when bad things happen, when good things happen, either way, I'm
look for the best in it. There's always something good. Just a side note, when my mum passed, it could have made or break me, and instead it made this beast that could spread love, show love, teach love, and create this podcast and everything, where someone else, bless them, is gone down in a ditch and fell to shit, and you know what I mean? So like that, look for the good in everything.
Yeah.
So, sorry, please.
So you have to, as much as you can, and it's not an easy thing to do at all, and I wouldn't want to try and if anyone's at the moment struggling with something, wouldn't want them to feel bad that they're struggling to see a silver lining. Yeah. And sometimes it's not, it's years before you go, that's why that happened, because now I'm here, or
Yes.
So I think, if I'm going back to your very original question, if I'm giving myself advice from 10 years ago, it would be trust that where you're meant to be, you will get there, and have a bit of confidence in yourself. And I say this as a hypocrite, because I still do not have the confidence in myself. No,
you have, but not the confidence you want. I've got to add that.
Yeah.
Because
I've got more confidence in myself.
That Sarah wouldn't have jumped on the camera. She'd have said, oh no, I haven't done enough drawing. Maybe Dan, just give me time. Back off, buddy. No, Joe, but do you know what I mean?
I mean, this is something actually just to mention quickly, because obviously we're talking about the algorithms changing, and one of the things now that the algorithm will favour more than anything is you being yourself.
Yes.
You're putting yourself out there, your face, your voice, everything on camera.
Yes.
It is the most uncomfortable I could be. I would rather walk on Lego for an hour barefoot than put myself in front of a camera. I hate it. I'm at home filming myself and I think, God, I'm a dick. I hate it so much, but I'm forcing myself to do it because I need to reach new people, because I need to get those commissions. Because I want to be earning money. I don't want this to be a hobby. I want this to be my career.
Agreed.
So So you're right. Yeah, there was a time when I'd have been like, absolutely no way. I'm not getting in front of the camera. I'm not comfortable here today doing this. You know, I'll be completely honest. I'm not. But yes, I have grown in confidence in that respect. And hopefully in 10 years, maybe we'll do this again, and I'll be.
That was my next question. What will you say to 10 years of Sarah? So 10 years, there's no hopefully, it's happening. We got a big posh studio. You think this is pressure? Watch when you got those big fuck off lights burning into your face, and you're like, Dan, if I knew he was coming here, then like.
Well, so, hopefully by then I'll be like,
you are the woman. So so again, everything's always manifestation with me. So whatever blue sky scenario looks like, you're there. 350k views, £5,000 per thingy. Slash loved it. You know them better than me, but all the gang had one each. So that's 15k off just them, and you've done other ones. You've done Michael Jackson ones, sold them for dumb money because he can't thank you for it. So with there, what will you say to her, being Sarah today? What would you say to her? So it would be starting with a well done, and you've done it, her confidence. I'm just giving you some stuff to bounce off, so then you can really talk to her.
I think I'm proud of you.
I love that. I fucking love that. Well done. Carry on. Keep going.
Just that. I didn't, because I'll be honest, if I'm thinking about in 10 years time, I don't truly believe that will happen. And that's not what I want to happen anyway. Like when you talk about
I know. That's
I know you just use it as an example. Yeah. I love Guns N' Roses. I don't want to be doing their portraits. I mean, if they ask me to, yep, I'm here, I'll do it.
You're going to talk them into existence because you just said no, that vision's like...
No, but that's not... I've got a different vision.
So then your vision, but just put it the best. What would you say to her? Whatever your vision is, the best of it?
Well done for getting there, for pushing through that constant self-doubt and imposter syndrome and that feeling of like you're not good enough, because I constantly feel that you're not good enough. Look at all these other artists out there, because my algorithm hits me with that obviously now, because that's what I do.
Guys, look at these pictures, and she's saying this. You just carry on. I'll just have to say that because just look at these pictures that's in between us here, and she doesn't mention it.
But it's not. I don't think I'm bad. Don't get me wrong, but I know there are people doing so much better, But you could say that about anything. You could say that about anything. There are singers, there are musicians. They're not the best, but they're killing it out there.
And they're making ridiculous money, and they've got their audience.
Yeah.
10,000 people, 150,000 people come to see them. 10 million said, not my cup of tea. But 150 in one venue.
Yeah.
12 tours,
Yeah.
So please carry on.
But you don't have to be the best.
No.
And this is the thing. We have to remind ourselves of that in life. It's not about being the best. It's about pushing through.
Yes.
It's about saying, okay, I might not be the absolute best. Nobody's the absolute best, but we keep going. And with any talent, the more you do it, the better you get anyway. Hopefully my art in 10 years time would blow my art now completely out. It's just, I hope anyway. So it's that, isn't it? It's like that. You don't have to be the best. You just have to persist. You just have to have that bit of ambition. You just have to keep telling yourself, even on your worst days, even when you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've had enough. I feel hopeless. I feel worthless. I feel like I'm not good enough. And you do it anyway.
Yeah.
You do it anyway.
You keep turning up. Me and my partner, Booker, we're doing the podcast, and the podcast is taken off amazingly. However, we're having less and less people want to take part, so we have to really go out and find these people now, which is brilliant. But I said to him, bro, we have to keep turning up, because when we look back and we've noticed that between me and him, we've got 50 episodes of just me and him.
Yeah.
That's a pat yourself on the back type of moment, because it's like, what did we talk about for that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how did we find all of these things to talk about? And it's also, like you say, it's showing up, it's being consistent, because then that's when someone will notice. We'll get Sarah, and Sarah is the best artist, and she says, you know what, boys, I like what you're doing, and I would like to collab. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, really? And before we know it, we're getting some of your audience's reach, you get some of our audience's reach, but you don't get to collab with someone who is successful in their own right, in their own field, without that consistency.
Absolutely. It is consistency. It is just keep going. And I think that's the same in any situation in life. Just keep going.
100%.
Just keep going, because you don't know what could happen at the end of it. And you only fail when you stop trying.
Yes. And another wise man says, the dots only align or link up when you look backwards. Well, if we stop, we don't get those dots to look back on. But when we go forwards, like you're saying, you look back, you think, oh, okay, that. And
exactly
then you start to see it come together.
You know, I had a thought yesterday, because I do quite often think, like, what if I'm wasting my time? What if I'm never going to get anywhere? What if this doesn't take off the way I dream, the way I would, you know, if someone said to me, what's your wildest dream? What if that doesn't happen? And then I think, absolutely no one who has been successful in their life, who was at the top of their game, knew it was going to happen.
100%.
They just had to believe that if they kept going, they could reach it, they could get there. They didn't know they were going to get there.
100%. I see it like a maze. I see life like a maze. And there's a lot of different, like, you know, the mazes with the big gardens, with the big trees and all that, whatever they are, bushes. And it's like, you can go, and sometimes it'll lead to a dead end and there's nothing there. Sometimes it'll lead to a dead end and there's a PlayStation. That's not going to interest you, but it interests me. And I'm sitting there and I think, damn, we've been here for a good minute. You should be getting out. And and then you may go to somewhere that will keep your attention. But the goal is to always keep going to reach your end goal. The consistency, the willingness and the desire will always, you know, it will find a way. You will find a way. We are being guided, even though we feel like we don't. And it's a lot of if, buts and maybes and a lot of our hope. If you keep going, you are actually being guided to where you should be. And that's the faith of following yourself, your steps, you know? So I would say, what piece of advice would you give to someone watching today? They are us about to write the status. They've already written it, it's in their drafts, they've thought about it, and they haven't had that confidence to release it yet.
I would say it's the same as anything. You just do it. Just take that first step. You don't know what's going to happen, and you won't know until you do it. You just have to. All those voices in your head that are telling you can't do it, you're not good enough. That's the devil on your shoulder, isn't it? That's the voice that you've got to just go, I'm not going to listen to you. You can you can put me down all you want. Try and tell yourself, even if you don't believe it, I can do this. I can do this. The more you tell yourself you can do something, the more you will start to believe it. It's reframing the way you think.
Yes.
And so I would say that, if you're thinking about taking whatever it is, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, but you're thinking, I don't think I can, I'm not good enough. Well, you could spend your whole life that. And what would you rather? Would you rather get to the end of your life and be on your deathbed and go, I tried, I gave it my best shot? Because you might be on your deathbed in your multi-million-pound mansion thinking that. Or you could be on your deathbed and you never tried and you're thinking, I wish I had. I wish I'd given that a go. And wouldn't you rather know that you tried? You know?
100%,
wouldn't you rather not have that regret of, I didn't give this a go and I wish I had and I feel like I've wasted my life? And
especially when it burns about you, like, you know, like your portraits, me with my podcast and being a personality, you know, on the camera. That is my passion. And I think to myself, this is what always gets me over the line. Dan, they will laugh if you did it. They will laugh if you didn't do it. Which one would you rather be?
This is the thing. You're always going to have people that want to put you down. And it's what you said earlier. It's people, there are people who they don't have, there's jealousy, they don't have the confidence to do it for themselves. And so they will say things, they will behave in ways that make you, they want to knock your confidence, because rather than bringing themselves up, it's easier to pull you down. And you just have to try and, you know, anything you do in life, there's going to be people like that, and you just have to try and shut those voices out. You just have to try and, you know, be like, I'm not going to listen to you, and you're not going to make me feel bad. I'm not going to allow your negative opinion of yourself that you're projecting onto me to ruin my life. So, and that's a lot easier for me to say than to do, because I know full well if someone was there commenting on my posts on my art saying, "Oh, this is crap," who do you think?
But we get defensive. We do, and because we protect what we love, we protect what we're passionate about, and we also protect what we put ourselves into. But at the same time, I'd rather have something to protect than have nothing to protect and still feel attacked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like we say, people will comment, people will laugh, but really it's just an insecure place they're coming from, because anybody who's starting their dream, I'm buying and selling cars, I'm building, I'm repairing, I'm doing whatever. immediately go to support because you think that's me just in a different form.
Yeah.
Where if you think, well, not you, me, whatever, but when people go to tease, bash, mock, it's mock. When people go to mockery, that's an insecure place and you look at them and you think, you're doing nothing with your life. You're doing nothing with yourself. Why am I even listening to you?
It says so much more about them than it will ever say about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
100%.
You just have to think, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to try and shut it out.
100%.
That's all you can do, because if you listen to it, it will bring you down.
It will. And the thing is as well, energy, vibration, when people are building away, creating their little something, the early stages where we're in, within the first 5 years is the building. 5 to 10 is consistency. 10 to 15 is mastery. And 20 is you should own it.
Yeah.
You should own it. So in the building, people in that section, they should think to themselves, you know what? I love where I'm at. Because like you said, even if we don't get to be this, I don't get 100 million views and 100 million followers, at least, Dan, you did it. I look back and I say, Dan, you did it. Those episodes are funny. Fair play, no one picked them up. Fair play, it didn't go anywhere, but you did it. You was consistent. You did 150 episodes. That's 150, about 500 hours worth of freaking editing that I've had to do. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, like people don't know how much work you're behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, But then when you look back, you think, and it's all about what we teach our children if we're lucky enough to have them, or influence them other people. That's a better statement. And it's like, you know what? At least I can show that person, go after your dream.
Absolutely. I think that's the ultimate thing, isn't it? Making our kids proud.
Yeah.
Giving them someone to look up to.
Yeah.
I don't ever want my kids to think, like, my mum didn't do anything with her life,
you know?
And for the longest time, I felt like I wasn't doing anything with my life. I skipped the opportunity to go to university, and that's something that is a regret I've always had. And I tried to tell myself, don't have regrets, you can't change it, and you wouldn't be where you don't know where you'd be now. I'm
so glad you didn't go to university, because only a few people, we know some very successful people that have, but only a few people go uni and pull something out of it. And when I say pull something out of it, I mean hit the high level,
Yeah.
Only a few, because a lot of people, they go to university, they get their degrees, sometimes they get masters, and they're working in professions not related to the degree. In my opinion, that's a waste of time. If I spend a lot of time doing social media studies and then I do pet portraits, I'll never be as good as you, because it wasn't my passion. And I didn't have the confidence to do my passion, because that means you have to go without. And that going without is very hard after you've invested so much in. So I would say, what 3 things are you grateful for? As we close. So it's a closing tradition on the podcast, and it's just something I always like them short and punchy. I like for people to put meat on the bone. It is you. This is still your time. So I'll say, what 3 things are you grateful for? I would say my eyes, my health, my back's a bit sore, so I'd say my back. It changes every day. So it doesn't have to be, this is what, and I should have done more. I'll ask you in 10 years, and I expect those to be different.
Yeah. But the 3 things I'm most grateful for. Ultimately, number 1, my family. Love them so much, and I'm so grateful to have them. Secondly, my talent, because my passion for creativity, the fact that anyone can be creative. You don't need to be typically what people would describe as talented. You don't have to have an amazing talent. I think talent shows itself in different ways anyway.
And it comes through, it makes room for you.
What someone shines. Thinks is talented of my work, someone else might think that's not talent, and they'll see something that that person would go, that's not talented, and they're like, no, that's pure talent. Talent is it's subjective. It's what other people see. But for me, what I consider to be my talent, I'm grateful for. And just, I think, this sounds really cheesy, but the fact that we live in a country where, there are some political issues and what have you, but we're safe, we're healthy. You see on the news at the moment all these war-torn countries and people fleeing and people losing their loved ones and their children, and I think, thank God.
And we're just somewhere consistently safe.
Yeah, we're safe, we're healthy, we've got roofs over our heads, we can put food on the table. If one of my kids gets sick, I can take her to the hospital. There's, there's nothing blocking any of that.
Yeah, no, I agree, because just this morning I was having a shower and I said, I'm grateful I got hot water.
Yeah.
Now that's so simple, living in this country or one of the richer countries, but in someone's country, they have to bathe in cold water.
Yeah.
Now that's better for your body, but it isn't a choice. You know what I mean? It isn't a choice.
That's the thing. We have so many choices. We're so lucky to have so many choices.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. I absolutely love this. Where can we find you and your social media handles? So
Sarah Mckenna, I've got a couple now because obviously one thing that we haven't really discussed is my shift from pet portraits, but that we can save that for another time. So
we can do a part 2 then.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. So Sarah Mckenna Fine Art is my pet portraits. The new thing that I'm just branching out into is stuff that's a little bit more creepy. I really like horror and scary things.
I saw some. Yeah, so I'll put some of those in as well.
Well, I've only got one at the moment that I've done, but I've got lots of plans for other ones. And that's when I said earlier about where I see myself going. That's the path I want to be following, but we'll save it for part 2.
Yeah.
But the handle for that one is just Sarah Mckenna Art. No fine in there, just Sarah Mckenna Art. So Sarah Mckenna Fine Art and Sarah Mckenna Art, those are my 2 art accounts.
And that's on social media. That's on Instagram.
That's on Instagram. I'm only Sarah Mckenna Fine Art on Facebook. I haven't set up a Facebook for my creepier stuff because I don't feel like there's an audience for it on Facebook at the moment. I might change that one day, but not at the moment. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Perfect. And we're so grateful to have you. Honestly.
Thank you. I'm
it's been a great
to be
episode.
Here.
And it's been very insightful. You know, it's all about following your vision. It's all about following your passion. And that self-belief, a lot of the time people don't believe in themselves enough and it doesn't lead them anywhere.
It doesn't. But then, like we were saying, or like I've been saying, I don't have a huge amount of self-belief. You can still achieve things not having a huge amount of self-belief. If you don't have a huge amount of self-belief, it really helps to have people behind you pushing you and saying, you can do this. You are good enough to do this.
Well, they say within the Bible somewhere, I'm not well versed in it, but it's like you only need a grain of sand or a grain of rice worth of belief and the rest will take. Now, if we think about how small that is, we don't need a cup full. We need 1 grain.
Yeah. And
that's enough for that to lead and then it should blossom and grow. So like a seed, then, you know, and it will grow.
Self-confidence grows the more you do it. And that's why when we were saying, you know, what's the advice for someone just starting out? Take that first step because it will lead to more.
Yes.
It will lead to more. You will start to believe more in yourself. It might be a slow process. It might take longer than you hoped it would, but it will. And if you don't start, you will never know.
Facts. I love that. Yeah. I love you. I love this.
Love you too.
Thanks. Guys, this is a great episode, man. The energy is real. The passion is real. Follow your dream. Push yourself. And we'll see you in the next episode. Today, everyone. Thanks for watching.